Hey, hope your recovery is going well. In the last video, I shared about my 8-day hospital stay, and in this video, I'm going to share some tips for a long hospital stay like that. I had a lot of experience with caregiving for somebody else. My dad, who had had long hospital stays, his were sometimes many weeks or even over a month. So I know that 8 days for real hospital warriors who spend months in there might sound actually like quite a short stay, but for me, that was the longest. I had never been inpatient in a hospital before, so that was quite a lengthy stay. Learned a few different things, just small, trivial things, but that really make a world of difference. So I'm gonna share this with you now. And if you're in the hospital yourself or you've had a hospital stay, please drop in the comments recommendations. I know people who have lots of experience with this, I'm sure have just a wealth of experience of how to make staying in a hospital manageable. So for me, I was bedridden. I could not get up and walk around, barely at all. Minimal, just little walks to the bathroom, and that was it. So all of my recommendations are really for somebody who's having that same experience of being very bed bound. Couple of tips. Number one, absolutely, I wish every hospital just gave it to you when you got there. Get an eye mask, like one of the sleeping ones. There are so many lights in the hospital, things beeping, lights going off, nurses opening the door to the hallway. I just cannot recommend enough. Whether it's a super cheap one, whether it's something fancy, does not matter. Get something that you can put over your eyes to get some real darkness while you're in there so that you can get some sleep, especially because, as anybody who stayed in a hospital knows, you're getting woken up throughout the night. I mean, you're having to go to sleep at odd hours. It's tough. So that is my number one recommendation. I had been on this vacation and had actually just purchased a nice eye mask for myself. I can't necessarily say it's one that I would have wanted to use regularly at home or something like that, but it was perfect for the hospital. It is an eye mask that actually has built-in Bluetooth speakers. So the thing that's nice about that is that you can be playing your music, your audiobook, white noise, whatever it is, just right in the eye mask. So you don't have to be wearing headphones to sleep or AirPods that might fall out or anything like that. So I would totally recommend something like that. If you are day one in the hospital, you don't know how long you're gonna be there, do it day one. If you have the mental capacity to go online and just buy yourself something and get it shipped to somebody nearby, get it shipped to a family member to pick up, etc., absolutely make that happen, because it was a lifesaver. I mean, I used it so many times a day, and I would just play white noise in it so that I couldn't hear all the medical beeping of all the machines and things like that. So that's my top rec. My second recommendation is get one of those really long phone charging cords. I had a normal phone charger and there was nowhere to plug it in near my bed, and I couldn't get out of bed. And so if my phone died, my phone just died. And then that meant I was just laying there with nothing to do in bed, or I was, unable to call somebody if I needed to, or text family, or give folks updates on my care, take notes on what doctors were saying, whatever might happen. And so my sibling was with me. My sibling got me one of those really long chargers so that it could get plugged into the wall and just have the cord run over to my bed. And that was hugely helpful. What else? Okay, a couple of tips that I can share about things your hospital might have that you should just know you might be able to ask for. If you have a caregiver, especially if you are away from home, if you have somebody coming into town to caregive for you, the hospital social workers or other sort of professional staff likely have a list of hotels that give specific discounts for patients and family of patients. So I had this long list I was able to get from the hospital. It took some calling around. I actually only found this out because I called one hotel to ask if they had availability, and I mentioned that I was booking on behalf of my sibling who was coming into town, and they said, oh, well, are you booking on the hospital's discount code? And I said, I don't know what that is. And they said, oh, you need to get it. You need to call and ask them. So I called around. I finally figured out who in the hospital could give me the list of hotels and all the discount codes, and then I called all of them. Now, a lot of those places get booked up with families who have really long hospital stays and will end up staying in those hotels for weeks or months, but still worth calling around. I ended up doing an Airbnb just because it ended up being more affordable and closer, but there were some really great hotel options at very affordable rates. And if they had availability, I absolutely would have gone with that. So make sure that you ask for that. The other thing I'll mention is, as much as dealing with insurance like sucks, and I know that when you're in the hospital dealing with insurance, when you just want to focus on your own health and well-being, is tough. I had a friend who helped me with this, but one thing I would say is eat the hospital food. Look up what your insurance covers, but for me, I was paying a daily rate for my hospital stay. I think that's pretty common across insurances. So I was actually, the cost of the food was already included in what I was going to be billed. I have a friend recently who had a hospitalization, and when I was speaking to his partner about how the hospital stay went, I said, how was the food? I know that can be really tough when you have a long hospital stay. And they said, oh, he didn't really eat it because he didn't want to get billed for it. And I was like, but you're already paying for it, you know? So some hospital food sucks. I was really lucky. The hospital I was at actually had like really good food. And so it was like totally edible, totally fine. And I had the thought too of like, well, am I paying for every single thing I order? And for me, the answer was no. It was just one fee per day for my inpatient stay. The food was already included in that. So instead of like having family members bring me in food that they would have had to be paying for outside, just know, look it up on your insurance, but it is very likely that that hospital food, if you're inpatient, is already something you're going to be paying for. So take a look at that, but know that you should be eating the hospital food. What else? I think those are all of my quick tips. I'm sure there's tons more to cover. There are many unglamorous parts of a hospital stay, which I'm happy to share more about, but those were just some simple, not super expensive things that made a world of difference in my hospital stay. So drop a comment, let me know if there are other things that you found really helpful that you think everybody should do. I'm sure there are things that I forgot, but if you're early on in your hospital stay or you're approaching a hospital stay and you know you're going to be checking in, those are a couple of things that I would super recommend that you get on immediately. So hope your recovery is going well. And in the next video, I'm going to share more about what the first couple of months of recovery at home looked like.